The Auditor-General provides assurance to Parliament on the accountability and performance of the Victorian public sector. On the 15th of October 2014, the Auditor-General tabled his Performance Audit Report, Public Sector Performance Measurements and Reporting. An effective system of performance measurement and reporting is critical if government is to achieve its policy goals. The system should fully inform government's resource allocation, help departments understand performance so they can improve, enable Parliament and the community to understand government's achievements, and enhance transparency in the public sector. Vargo audits in 2001, 2003 and 2010 found that departments did not properly report on what their funded activities had achieved for Victorians. Public Accounts and Estimates Committee reports have also highlighted systemic weaknesses in Victoria's performance measurement system and its application by agencies. The government set a reform program in 2011 to address these weaknesses, and the Department of Treasury and Finance, or DTF, documented the requirements. If applied as intended, these requirements would represent better practice. The audit examined 1. Whether the departments listed were effectively applying government's performance measurement and reporting system, and 2. Whether DTF was effectively guiding, supporting and overseeing departments' activities in this area. We tried to understand whether government reforms were making a difference by measuring performance and communicating this performance to Parliament and to the community. The departments we examined in this audit were not effectively applying the government's performance measurement and reporting system. In particular, budget papers and annual reports that are meant to explain performance are impenetrable documents. Some of the reasons for this include the following. The numerous output measures reported rarely provide sufficient information to understand the effectiveness and efficiency of output delivery. Weaknesses in defining objectives and linking them to outputs mean they are not sufficient to measure and report on outcomes. And the absence of meaningful commentary on output metrics means these documents are of minimal value in explaining performance. In summary, the structural weaknesses in performance measurement and the absence of meaningful commentary mean the current documentation falls well short of explaining departmental performance. We observed similar slow progress in developing corporate and long-term plans. These plans are meant to provide government with the type of intelligence needed to meet medium and long-term threats to sustainable service delivery. The latest draft plans for the departments we examined fall well short of the government's minimum requirements, and the rate of progress does not suggest that agencies are close to addressing this. The fiscal and performance challenges facing Victoria mean effective long-term planning is critical if government is to be prepared to meet these challenges. We found that DTF's oversight of the performance measurement and reporting system has been partly effective. DTF applied the required processes and provided guidance and support to departments and reviewed their progress. We identified 3 areas where DTF needs to improve. Firstly, providing more extensive examples of better practice. Secondly, more rigorously assessing departments' reporting frameworks. And lastly, better understanding and addressing the barriers. This last task is critical. Our recommendations are designed to build on the momentum of the government's reforms and help departments break the impasse that has prevented significant improvement in performance reporting over the last 13 years. The audit identified barriers to change that need to be addressed if departments are to achieve the step change in measuring and reporting performance. These include departmental perceptions that 1. Measuring outcomes and linking outputs to objectives has to be achieved without having sufficient flexibility to change how outputs are structured. 2. The restrictive nature of budget papers and annual reports makes it difficult to use these as vehicles for reporting and fully explaining outcomes. 3. There is insufficient guidance on how to define objectives, link these to outputs and measure their achievement. And 4. There are challenges in getting ministerial buy-in to framework changes. We found that DTF and departments are not currently addressing these barriers. DTF and departments need to break this impasse and deal with the barriers to change. We made 6 recommendations directed at DTF and the 3 portfolio departments examined in the audit. All recommendations were accepted by the relevant departments. The recommendations from this audit directed at these 3 departments are highly relevant to all departments that are subject to the performance measurement and reporting requirements set out in the Budget and Financial Management Guidance. Previous related audits are listed here. Reflections on Audits 2006 to 2012 draws on 200 reports tabled from 2006 to 2012 and explores recurring findings across these reports. Measuring and communicating performance in the public sector forms part of this paper. All our reports are available on our website at www.audit.vic.gov.au. If you have any questions about this or other reports, or if you have anything else you would like to discuss with us, including ideas for future audit topics, please call us on 03 8601 7000 or contact us via our website.